Hello, hello, hello. This is Pharaoh, and welcome back to Faenura Park, episode 9. And yes, it's been a while since I last posted. And we're going to talk about it a bit at the start of this episode. But if you liked it, I'm returned with a video. Please leave a like on the video and maybe consider a subscription. Well, here you can see an overview of Faenura Park and the part I wanted to work on. In the last episode, we worked on the swimming pool, but I wanted to put in a dueling wooden coaster and found out that there was no coaster chaining in the game. Well, this was one of the first things I ran across when I started to feel like I didn't want to play Planet Coaster 2 anymore. Another thing was I had a lot of troubles when I was working with a Darkride. There's going to be a Darkride in this episode. We're going to build a Darkride. But for me, suddenly Planet Coaster 2 felt more as a struggle than fun to play as a game. Now, this could have multiple reasons. It could be that I've been playing it a lot since the game came out and since I started the series. I mean, we're at episode 9 and it's only been 3 months. So it's quite a lot of content as well if you count the Lord of the Rings water park. And there's also the bugs that have plagued me mostly lately when I tried to build this and I was like just disappointed in the game and disappointed in Frontier. Now they have put a big patch up there, a whole path with what they want to do. So I'm confident that the game will improve in time. So I'm trying to get slowly back into the game, and I think you'll see me more from now on. Well, I started building and I wasn't 100% sure what this area was going to look like. I kind of first leaned towards like Dutch trading company. What's that? 1500s, 1600s. But the more I was building, the more it looked more like Industrial Revolution Netherlands. So I decided to be a Dutch square. And that's basically what I'm building. Well, don't be deceived. I'm not working on the coaster. Because while I was building this, we got the news that coaster chaining is coming back in the February patch. So I'm just patiently waiting for that. Though this episode we're building a flat ride. We're building the square with a lot of shops. There's gonna be like a little Midway game and a Darkride, and everything is Dutch themed. Yeah, I'm going very nationalistic here. And the swinging ship is gonna go as well. This is the place where the Darkride is gonna go, and I'm very happy I did that because, especially when I was like struggling to building the skin around the swinging ship just didn't feel something I could be happy with or something I wanted to do. And let's be honest, it's a game. Games have to be fun, and I was struggling. So I'll skip a bit ahead and show you what I've been building. First off, I started with these. I wanted to build these typical Amsterdam houses. Now, one of my new favorite features of Planet Coaster 2 is that there's now skatable wall pieces. And I'm making use of those here to have a bit more control over the size and the scaling of the building. I just wanted this typical Amsterdam look for tree houses and then have some warehouses next to it that more remind me of a few warehouses I know from Rotterdam. But, it's Dutch. I'm just going Dutch for this area. To keep the piece limit down, I do use a lot of the standard windows and stuff, as you can see here. And there was a happy little accident where the window sill protruded through the wall, and that's why there's this nice white beam that I actually enjoyed having in there. And you know, here I'm just trying to get a bit of that Amsterdam house flavor. I think I had a picture open of a few Amsterdam houses in a row just to give myself the right inspiration and get the vibe right. And yeah, I think that actually worked really well. I'm also looking for plaster pieces to use as decoration for the roof. And the other houses are kind of exactly the same method. I just use different wall colors and different roof. Though behind this building, it's going to be a like a show building behind it. It's not going to be complete Amsterdam houses because we're still trying to make a realistic theme park. And I think a realistic theme park would just do the facades, and where people can't see it, they would just make a show building for ease. And here I use one of the plaster pieces to make like a nice decoration on top, which is typical Amsterdam stuff. So yeah, I'm quite happy with how this turned out, and this actually got me finally building along a bit. The second and third house were not much different, as you can see here, so we'll skip a bit through those and I'll quickly go towards the end result. As you can see here, I was already working on the third one and on the warehouses to the left of the buildings. Now, yeah, I had to work out how that corner was going to be, and it's going to be a little bit of an awkward corner, but if I look at some other theme parks and the way they try to fit their theming together, those awkward corners are just there. Trying to make facades fit together. So I think that's a fun, just extra detail, but here you can really see how these first three Amsterdam houses are done. And yeah, this is the point that I slowly got a little bit back into wanting to play the game. It wasn't too much, and I'm still a little bit hesitant about playing the game, but it's slowly, I'm getting the groove back. It's getting even better when we are at the Darkride, but yeah, for now this was it. And there's the warehouses. I tried to make this as like a bigger one-piece warehouse, and in the middle people could go to the toilets, and just like a bigger building. And to the side there's an entrance for personnel, for a staff room. And here I'm trying to detail out the doors so they look like sliding doors. And just a little bit of rummaging around with pieces. I'm still getting to know the pieces way better and better and better. And it's still not amazing, but it's getting better. And I get, especially towards the end of the episode, you see that I get more of a feel for smaller pieces, using pieces differently. I think that's finally starting to kick in. I'm especially proud of the little ducks at the end. You will see them when we get there. But here you can mostly see me just working out the warehouse and making it, trying to make it look better and better. And eventually the warehouse becomes Shane's shipping. Shane is a very good viewer of the streams. Is in a lot of Planet Coaster 2 streams, and he's everybody's cheerleader, so to say. So this one is for Shane because he's an amazing presence in the community, in the communities I am part of. And here is a nice overview of the area, how it turned out up until now, even with some uh, greens put in there as well. And now it's time to start to do the backside. Now that's not that interesting, so we're gonna skip towards the next interesting bit of building. And here you can see the show building in place and how it's connecting up to everything. I still needed to do some adjusting for some roofs that were protruding through the walls, but basically this is kind of how the area ended up with its roofs and everything. There's a little corner still open there. That's because I didn't 100% knew for sure how I was going to do the backside with the overpower, but trust me, I just cover it up. I changed the position of the overpower a little bit and then went back to do some more terraforming and get some more water around the overpower. And I kind of wanted this to be a harbor, or not harbor, more like a really the side at the water's edge. What would I call that? Yeah, a riverside area, like you see in Amsterdam and you see in Utrecht as well. Just to get it nice. So I'm using those black poles eventually to give it more that Amsterdam look, and just a lot of wood and eventually some crates and stuff. So maybe ships would dock here. That's kind of the suggestion we're making, and that's also what I'm using for the skin of the overpower. And here you can see what I mean. That those get those little black balls in there, and getting more and more wood in there just to give that harbor side, but more like an inner city harbor. It's stuff I've seen in Amsterdam, kind of made for a theme park. Now I left the overpower a bit alone. I kind of needed to think about what I wanted to do with that overpower, and so I started work on the Darkride. And this is actually the Darkride I already really wanted to move, the power mover, I think it's called, something like that. And it the fact that all these cars are in there made me think of a ride at Efteling called Carnival Festival. It's basically this ride, this Carnival Festival. The only problem with this ride in the game, it's really, really slow. It's super slow. It's 2 kilometers per hour. I find it very weird that I can't up it to like 5 kilometers per hour, which is still slow, but would be better. And the prestige on this thing, especially when you try to make it like I did, like a simple circle, is complete crap. But I think it's a bit lackluster in this game. But I didn't want to deter now from this route. I really wanted to build this. This is kind of a 2-for-1, because was also working for something called the Galaxy of Goodnights, for a server, and they wanted something from your home. So I'm making a very Dutch ride, and just putting cliche Dutch things in this Darkride. And basically the backside is the Darkride and the front side is just a station. And I'm very much going for that It's a Small World and Carnival Festival vibe. And I think I eventually nailed it with like these really Dutchy scenes, but cartoony. I use a lot of art shapes, and I'm really happy with how this will turn out eventually. And so what I first started doing was build the scenes, and I wanted just like these happy scenes of the Netherlands, and blue skies, clouds, and eventually I thought maybe it would be nice to have a mascot in there. So I made Sunny, the happy sun, to be part of the ride. And this is also my first time I'm trying to use the animatronic arms to really make those custom animatronics. And yeah, you'll see it in a moment. After working on the scene a bit, I decided to create some custom moving flowers, tulips, because Dutch. So I tried to design tulips. Do they look like tulips? A little bit. Could they be better? Maybe. It's. I tried to use scaling as much as possible, but the art shapes still made it quite big. So I think I could have done better. But yeah, I just try to make it to the best of my ability. Like I said in the Lord of the Rings Water Park episode, I'm not the best when it comes to art shapes, but I just try to make something nice out of it. So yeah, I hope you like it. And the tulips will go into the ride and will be turning around and be bouncing up and down, just to yeah, make a little fun scene. This Darkride doesn't tell a story. It just shows you 3 typical Dutch scenes, and that's it. But because the people mover is so slow, the ride still takes like 5 minutes, I think. So I restrained myself at making a ride with a lot of scenes and more. Made this like a kiddie ride. I think this is mostly a kiddie ride where the yeah, the kids can enjoy the kids can enjoy the ride, and it's colors and happy music, and it's more for the younger children. But I think it works out really well, and the tulip is now starting to look like a tulip, and also style. I very consciously started using art shapes for this ride, so I could be sure that everything looked cartoony for the ride. I'm planning another dark ride for this park, which is going to take on a more serious, realistic looking vibe. Yeah, there was a learning curve with the animatronic arms as well. I could not figure out how to get the tulip to connect to the animatronic arm. You can see that here. I'm leaving this all in so you can see the struggle I had. But again, this was just me learning to make it work. When I finally figured out how to do it, it actually became quite easy. I have to say, because I was so disappointed in Planet Coaster for a bit, in Planet Coaster 2 for a bit, I kind of was at one point like, screw this game, I'm going home. That's it. But we were on stream, and well, we figured it out together to make it work. And I think I even looked at a quick tutorial to figure it all out. But I got there with the trees. And here I'm making Sunny, our sun mascot, who's going to be turning on his axis, as you can see here, just as a fun little happy sun. I used, by the way, for the pupils, maybe a nice tip, the beach balls. The beach balls you can color, just color it in black, and I had a nice round pupil then. And now it's time to decorate the scene. But again, I'm trying to use just art shapes to make it very cartoony, and then you get all these happy tulips moving and bouncing upside down. And the second scene is a bit of a geography lesson. The Netherlands is lower than sea level, and we have dikes that have to protect us from the water. And what I wanted to do in the second scene was make the aggressive water with the moving parts, and have some water get over the dikes. And on the other side, what else but, of course, windmills and green and white houses for to represent the Netherlands. It's the green and white houses are more north of the Netherlands, but I think it's very recognizable for all the tourists that go to Amsterdam and the Zaanse Schans, because that's the thing they always see, a windmill and the green and white houses. So I think this scene is typical Dutch geography that every tourist sees. And the last scene is Dutch foods. I tried to design a little bit of a silhouette of an Amsterdam skyline, and we're gonna see some cheese. We're gonna see some fries with a frikandel, which is a Dutch meat stick. It sounds really bad when I say it like that, but that's basically it. Dunked in mayonnaise, because that's what we do. And in the background also some stroopwafels, which is like 2 waffles with syrup in the middle, which is something every Dutchie likes, but also every visitor I know wants stroopwafels because they really, really like them. So that's what I'm basically building in this scene. And you'll see the complete scenes at the end of the episode when I'll show the Darkride. After getting the scenes done, it's time to put I did put a lid on the thing and made it dark on that side. And because I got now my new video card, I actually can use not ambient occlusion, it's the other one. Well, the one where the sun, where it gets dark inside. It now gets dark inside for me, and I'm really happy about it. So that made it a bit more fun to make the Darkride, because you can just get in when it's daylight and it will be dark inside, which I think is a really nice addition for the game. No more signs with look at this at night and everything. It just works. And now also I'm doing the station itself, very much inspired by Carnival Festival. But I wanted a big sign in there for the name of our ride, which is going to be Dutchieland. Yes, welcome to Dutchieland with its mascot Sunny. And of course, red, white and blue and orange, which is the colors of the Netherlands. And get a very nice vibe for this. Now, for the inside of the station, I also did a few fun things. I put all these art shapes up in the colors of the red, white, and blue. Of course, Sunny, as you can see here, is going to make a entrance. I think I paused. Yeah, I'm trying to make it as big as possible, and to have a Sunny in there. And in the ride itself, I'm also going to put up flags, which is something you also see in Carnival Festival. And the flags are going to be the 12 flags of the 12 provinces of the Netherlands. But you'll see that in a moment in the scene when I'm designing those. Here I'm working on the different flags for the provinces, and this one is Friesland, what I'm working on, and I think the one above is Gelderland. And yeah, it's like these banners I made out of the flags, and try to design them the way that they could look like the flags of the Netherlands. I'm not even sure which one this is. I forgot. I had a whole page open with all the flags that needed to be in there. I think this is Utrecht. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to guess anymore because I'm going to offend people with my guesses. No, this is not Utrecht. This is another one. That's what I mean. So just know that I've tried to design all the banners here. And with the whole inside done, it was time for me to do the outside. I've been working the paths quite a bit, I have to say. But what I decided for this is using the corrugated wall to make these green metallic walls, those prefab walls on like all the sides, except for this side, of course, because that's going to be the side with the whole facade on it, and it's going to be so typically Dutch. I've decided to here you can see me struggle again with the paths to get a nice square path. I am getting a little bit better with those, but it's still a struggle, to be honest. I wish we can make square paths. I hope that's something in the future that we're gonna see. I also decided that we needed custom fencing, again with the happy art shapes, the cartoony art shapes, and red, white, blue, orange fencing all around the pathing. And when that was done, I also tried to put up some shading on the side of the ride. I imagine, and that's something that happened to Carnival Festival and everything as well, that the queue from this line used to be different, but because there was a minimal interest in there, Carnival Festival also, you can basically walk into that ride nowadays. They cut the queue from what it was and just put it to the side, and that's what I'm representing here as well. It looks a bit cheap, it looks a bit off, and to be honest, in Efteling, the Carnival Festival queue, as it is at the moment, is also just like a bit of an afterthought. It's not the themed queuing we use from the rest of the Efteling. It goes outside on a bit of street and then goes back in. And I try to represent that here with this. I try to make the path as square as possible, but at one point I had to give up. It just didn't want to work with me the way I wanted it to. Now it was time to build the facade, and I went for those green and white houses again, getting that cartoony, maybe even simplified vibe in there, just to be honest, make it look simple but effective. I think that's the vibe I went to for. So we're gonna go with those Amsterdam roof shapes again, a pointy one, a square one, to make everything fit together. And yeah, like I said, it's just a facade. At the side you can see there's a wall now, and I'm gonna put some foliage in there, and I'm just slowly hiding all the sides of the building from a view, but it's still there. But because that's this greenish color, it kind of blends in, and it's yeah, kind of what Efteling does as well. Their show buildings are painted green, and to not be that prominent. So that's basically what I'm doing here as well. There's going to be a faux roof on top of it. Oh no, there's not going to be a roof on top of it, but there's going to be like air conditioning and stuff on top of it, and there's going to even be a backstage area that I haven't filled out just yet. Kind of want to play out what I want to make there, but just this is again that cartoony style of the inside. I wanted to get that on the outside as well. And slowly I'm piecing everything together. The green, the white, and then the orange on top of the green which stands out on the green. So that's really nice. Reddish colors do that. Sunny, of course, on the front to represent our guy in there, and just almost chalkboard-like shapes on this facade. Yeah, I think it works really well. It's something different for this park as well. It's just a bit of a break in all those old, very detailed houses, and yeah, again, taking cues from It's a Small World and the Carnival Festival at Efteling to make this work. And with some backstaging and foliage, the Darkride was done. Again, you'll see it at the end of the video. But here I'm building a Midway game, which was not my intention at first for this a little bit of greenery, but I kind of felt like doing it, and I'm making one of those games where you can fish for the duckies, and then there's a number on the bottom of the duckies, and that gives you a prize. Now, I'm not a master at Midway game stuff in small details, but I think the design of this went really well. And here I'm frantically looking for a part to make the duckies. But eventually I found the light switch, and that actually worked really well for me. And with the duckies in place, copied over, I'm really proud of those ducks, by the way. I decided to make a few of those fishing poles that the kids can use to try to catch the ducks and claim their prize. This Midway game is going to be on the workshop, this Midway game area, as is the Darkride, by the way, so you can enjoy that. As is going to be the park, by the way, so if you want to try out the park, look what I've done up until now, you can. I've been monitoring the amount of pieces I've used. It should be well enough for console players as well. I tend to not use a lot of pieces, and I think the park up until now is like 30k pieces or something like that. So I think you can play it on console. But basically there's our Midway game done, and on the other side there's going to be like an overhang where you can buy drinks and a bit of snacks from machines. Of course, if it's a Midway game, we also need prizes, so put on some cheap inflatables that people can win, like the balls and some palm trees to, have you buy something. And I realize now that I didn't put a sign up um, on the area, and maybe I should have done that, like ducky catching or something like that. So I might just release it a little bit later when I've got time to put it in. It's been a very busy few weeks with a lot of stuff happening around our family, so I'm not immediately going to do that. And now it's time to put the focus back on the overpower, which is what I'm doing now. And I decided just to use the big crates to decorate the stands of the overpower. I didn't do too much. I was still, and am still a little bit Planet Coaster 2 tired. So, I just decided to make it easier for myself. But I did like the idea of using these big crates and put down a few more crates to decorate this flat ride. It's hidden from the path. There's a building in the way, so you can't really see it. So it's like your own little area where this flat ride is hidden, which I kind of enjoy, to be honest. I decided to do a bit more decorations in the queue and made this wooden crane, half based on some medieval cranes I found, half fantasy. We're still in a fantasy park, so but I tried to make it look nice and have some crates hanging from it, just as a bit of an extra decoration for the queue to make it a bit more interesting. And I think, I think I've done a decent job. And now a tour of the final result. The overpower has been called Cargo Hall. It is now nicely hidden in this nook. To have it a bit off the path because it's like a loud flat ride. But it now has this nice path. And there it is with the big crates and of course the little crane. And there it just sits nicely in between all the decorations. Simple but effective, and I think that's basically what I went for a lot of this. On the right you see the Midway game, and here of course is Shane Shipping, which I already mentioned, with more decorations and just a finished bit. And of course here are Amsterdam Houses with Winder's Waffles, another mate of mine who got a little shout out there. Our backstaging area, and of course here is the finished backside of the Midway games. And then we go over to Dutchy Land, and there it sits. And yeah, let's just go in. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. And last but not least, we're gonna of course tour Dutchy Land after I give you a last view of the station with all the flags in there and the cars going by. But now it's time to say bye-bye. Bye-bye and enjoy the POV.